Shalom, Tish'a BeAb. It's really the 10th of Ab today, Sunday, whatever today is, July 29th, 2012. We're here at JCC, we're having class in the afternoon, and before we start on our topic, there are numerous issues that come up year after year after year. Let's just try to touch upon them, hopefully we can discuss them, answer them, deal with them. Topic number one, Tefilin. To wear Tefilin on Tish'a BeAb morning, or not to wear Tefilin? And if to wear it, when, where, how, why? Covers the questions?
Right. And what to be said.
On what to be said, fine. We're good. There is a very old tradition, okay? It's recorded in Shulchan Aruch as the minhag of Am Yisrael, and obviously it predates that. And again, like I told Ezra before, I'm in deal. I have no sources with me. I have no books. I have nothing here. So I can't tell you how far back it goes, but definitely, we know from Abu Darham, at least from Spain, we know it's universally accepted among all Jews that Tefillin are not worn on Tish'a BeAb morning. Tish'a BeAb is a day of national mourning. The same way when you're a mourner, that first day of mourning, you're on in and you're not wearing Tefillin. It's the same thing on Tish'a BeAb. Tish'a BeAb, the Tefillin is called Pe'er. It's called our glory. Okay? And how can we wear glory in the spot that we're supposed to be wearing Ephir? We're supposed to be putting ash. Nowadays in our community, because especially in the United States, you will not see Jews putting ash because they'll think it's like Ash Wednesday. And now you're copying the Goyim. So again, this is something else that we picked up from Ashkenazim, to stop using ash, even though it was something that was used at least, till 150 years ago in the Middle East and the Ottoman Empire, that actually on Tish'a BeAb morning, Jews would walk into Knesset and touch some ash and put it on their forehead, in the place of usually putting on Tefillah Shel Rosh. Okay? So we have, and if you look at the keynote carefully, in certain keynotes, especially the older ones, you'll see, it talks about the Sum Efer Tahat Pe'er. Bimkom the Sum Pe'er Tahat Efer. It keep uses those, again, you have the Pe Aleph Resh and the Aleph Peresh. The letters interchange, and it's something that just is not done. It's not befitting the day of Tish'a BeAb. When did Tefillin come into play on Tish'a BeAb? The first source we know of for wearing Tefillin on Tish'a BeAb was the big Moshe Galanti in Safed, approximately, let's say, 1590. And he only did it privately. And we only know about it because later on, let's say about 70 years later, after his passing, his grandson wrote it. My grandfather, Rabbi Moshe Galanti, used to wear Tefillin Tish'a BeAb morning, privately, at home, and say Shema. He didn't say Qaddish, he said Shema. Done. That's all he said. Because once that was printed, Shema, only the Shema. Okay? Again, he was a Mikubal as well. After that was printed, Am Yisrael, we love to emulate our Hachamim. Hacham did it, we should do it too. People started doing it. I'm putting on my Tefillin at home. After a little while, we don't have an exact date, but you know how things develop. What do you mean I'm only saying Shema? That means I'm praying at home.
Where did Maran pick it up?
No, Maran didn't pick it up. Maran was predated this.
You remember something about the Chacham Bashi also?
He is the Chacham Bashi. We should not use the Chacham Bashi. Maran is before that. Maran wrote no Tefillin. Simple.
Right. Well, this is...
that was the minhag of everybody. That was the minhag, universal minhag of all Jews. Sephardim, Ashkenazim, Romaniyot, Italkim, everybody did the same thing. Nobody wore Tefillin Tish'a BeAb morning.
So you tell me, until this Rabbi Galanti started to put it on, if it was Mikubal,
yes,
it started to...
Right. And he never publicized it. Only his grandson, after his death, his grandson publicized it. And he didn't make a big fanfare of it, he had to write it in a book. But people picked up on it, and people wanted to do what he did. He was a chief rabbi, he was a Mikubal, he was a big guy, he must have known. Let's do it too. People start doing it. All right, I'm already wearing Tefillin at home. What do I do with it? So I just say, Shema, do I pray? It must be how they pray. So they pray. So now the custom came about praying at home until after the Amidah. This custom we have it recorded, it existed in Yerushalayim. This custom we have recorded existed in Egypt. This custom existed in Syria. We have written sources There's no question. And it probably existed in many other places as well. That's where the Tefilin issue came along. Whether it's correct or incorrect, you just heard the history of it. You decide. Bottom line is, if somebody's going to ask you what the minhag of this, what the minhag of that, it's important to know. So, yes, the minhag of Halab became that, and it seems to be that the entire city of Halab, including the different minyanim, the Mosseri minyan, the Sephardi minhag of their minyan, and even the Frangi minhag of the Jews that came really from Italy, like the Picciottos and the Silveras, and those, they seem to all have adopted this minhag of wearing tefillin at home and praying the entire prayer from beginning till the end of the Amidah at home with tefillin, remove them, come to Qaddish for Sefer Torah and Kino.
With Qaddish?
With everything.
Everything.
Everything. Everything. Beginning till after the Amidah. Okay? Now, obviously, if they were coming to Qaddish for Sefer Torah and Kino, most probably, and in all likelihood from what we've been able to gather, there was some sort of minyan going on that wasn't wearing talit and tefillin. Probably people that you were, nominated or volunteered each year. I'll be the guy to come, to pray over here minyan. So we have a minyan going on to carry us into that portion of the Kinot and Sefer Torah and all.
Maybe some people actually followed Maran.
Yes, maybe there were some people, but it wasn't the common minhag.
I didn't hear. I really never heard that.
What?
Following Maran.
Okay.
I heard that
No.
to put on.
He's not saying
No, right,
now.
right.
About 200 years ago, maybe there were people
Right.
doing that. And it's possible. Okay, let's take for example, in Egypt, when Harun ben Shimon was appointed chief rabbi in 1891, he shows up and he sees that on Tish'a BeAb morning people aren't showing up their usual way. Usually everybody shows up on time and they're there. People are just walking in drips and drabs. I already prayed at home. What do you mean you already prayed at home? Yeah, I already prayed at home. What do you mean you prayed at home? He didn't tell them to pray at home. There is a minyan going on without talit tefillin, but a whole bunch of people, I prayed at home, I prayed at home. You prayed at home. Who gave you the right to pray at home? Who gave you, on the day of national mourning, that we're trying to promote ahdut, every guy's to himself, you're home, nobody's praying b'sibur. Are you a mikubal? Till they figured out what they're doing, they're praying at home with talit tefillin. Are you a mikubal?
Maybe they don't want the people praying with tefillin. Everybody praying with tefillin.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, but
in the Knesset.
So he's saying, don't pray with tefillin. This thing of tefillin was for a big mikubal. It's not for the Hamun Am, not for the simple people. You're a regular, simple person. Thank you, Gazul. You follow Torah Mitzvot. Thank God you're here to pray.
Also.
But you're not here to do, mystical things. He was here. I'm here. I'm the rabbi. I'm the hachab. I didn't put on tefillin at home. I'm here to pray. This is a day that I'm crying. Tefillin does not belong on me this day. He was able to change things around.
What was it saying? Sorry.
Harun ben Shimon. He was chief rabbi in Cairo from 1891 to 1921. And he said basically, don't wear tefillin on Tish'a BeAb morning, follow Shulchan Aruch, and if you really want to wear, so then follow the source of wearing it. Say Shema. That's it.
But he felt he do it for mincha.
Everybody agrees mincha. There is no
Egyptians
question.
don't do mincha and regular fast. Okay.
Tish'a BeAb, everybody wears. Tish'a BeAb is different.
No, Egyptians don't wear tefillin for mincha during each other
For
fast.
the other part.
But this one, okay, just wanted to clarify that.
No. Tish'a BeAb, everybody agrees that we wear for mincha. It's also in Shulchan Aruch. There's no question about that. Even though Barry wants to think that the Canadians don't. Okay, but we could let Barry listen to this and let him know that they do.
Where is he?
Barry can't make it today. In any case. So that's the tefillin. Now, the Ben Ish Hai also discusses this tefillin issue. Okay, and he was a big mikubal. And because he was a big mikubal, his recommendation to the people was you should not let a day go by without wearing tefillin. Okay, it didn't seem that there existed a custom of people praying at home till after the Amidah in Baghdad, but he wanted people to wear tefillin, so he also told them, put on your tefillin at home, and say Qaddish and Shema, and then come to Qaddish and pray everything from scratch without anything, So, there are numerous sources for this. Now, the Baghdadians were very much into Kabbalah, as we know. And there were numerous aliyot from Baghdad to Yerushalayim. Turn of the century, then again 1920, then again 1950. There were numerous aliyot. And there was the famous yeshiva of the Mekubbalim in Yerushalayim called Yeshivat BeAb. And BeAb, obviously they did their own thing, and they didn't interfere with other people, and other people didn't interfere with them. Until really the Baghdadians showed up and some Bukharis. And these people really started to play a major role and influence on the minhagim of Yerushalayim. And slowly, the minhagim of Yerushalayim changed from no tefillin, or to those few people that were at tefillin at home, let's say, praying tefillin and Amidah, but the majority of Yerushalayim did not pray with tefillin at all. Okay, because that was the prevalent Sephardi minhag, especially among the Spanioli Jews, and most of Yerushalayim, they were Ladino-speaker Spanioli Jews that had roots in the Ottoman Empire and in Turkey, and there was no tefillin. But 1900, there was still no tefillin. 1920, it started coming out of the Baghdadians and the BeAb people. By 1950, it became very, very widespread to already, well, we all know they were wearing tefillin at home, you know, and since Apia Kabbalah we should be wearing tefillin, let's all start wearing tefillin in Knis on Tish'a BeAb morning. Let's take our entire history.
Who said this on?
This happened. Nobody said it. It just happened. It evolved. Everything got thrown out and became that minhag Yerushalayim from, let's say, the 50s, became to wear tefillin in Knis. Even then, you still had people that, no, we don't do that, and it existed, let's say, till about 1970, 75. By the time Ahmad became Rishon LeZion, okay, he already loved this idea of everybody wearing tefillin, and he claimed minhag Yerushalayim. No, in Knis. And he claimed, yes, minhag Yerushalayim is to wear talet tefillin on Tish'a BeAb morning in Beit Knesset for the entire tefillah, and to remove them after the Amidah, so you're not wearing them for the keynote.
Right. So it seems like Rabbi Kassin.
No, Rabbi Kassin. Rabbi Yaakov Kassin never promoted wearing talet tefillin in the Beit Knesset on Tish'a BeAb morning.
Oh,
he did not.
Oh,
no.
He promoted the
Hacham Shaul, his son, on the other hand, and Hacham Baruch, his son-in-law, they did promote it. They said, no, it's important to follow this Kubbalim system and what's listed as such, to start wearing talet tefillin in the Beit Knesset. Now, Hacham Shaul never pushed it. If you asked him, he'd tell you. Hacham Baruch, on the other hand, we're beginning to hear more and more from different people, that he was really advocating it and he wanted it to happen. Right. And
Rabbi Labaton says that every year. He announces that.
Okay, so Rabbi Labaton announces it every year.
He wore tefillin this morning.
Okay. Now, years ago in Dil Knis, okay, there was always, the night of Tish'a BeAb, what do we do tomorrow morning? Everybody's yelling out. And Rabbi Dweck would get up and say, okay. And he would get up and he would try to keep everybody happy by stating that there are those that wear tefillin at home, until after time, and there are those that wear them in the Beit Knesset. So if you're already wearing them, come and wear it, because, our rabbis say it's good to do. But he never pushed either agenda. Okay, I have to be honest. I never heard him push either way. He would wear it, Hamid Bon wouldn't wear it,
Mosseri announced last night not to wear.
Okay, different people, different things. Okay? Whatever the situation is, I personally think that we shouldn't wear it. I do still wear it at home and say Qaddish and Shema, but I'm all for people not wearing it to Tish'a BeAb morning. It makes more sense. It really does make more sense.
Not to wear it.
Not to wear it.
At all.
At all.
Okay.
Okay, but if you have a minhag, then follow your minhag.
Right.
If you're not sure, and many people in this community are not sure of their minhag because they grew up with nothing, and their fathers really grew up with nothing. So, do what's right. Follow Shulchan in this case. That's my personal opinion.
It seems like what's going to happen in the next few years.
Everyone's wearing it.
Nobody's going to be wearing it.
No.
No, they're all going to be wearing it.
Everybody's going to be wearing it?
Yeah.
All going to be wearing it in shul.
Everybody's going to be wearing it in
You think so?
And in shul.
Yeah.
I went to shul today. There wasn't one guy wearing it.
You went to a specific place, that's why.
Where'd you go?
Elmhurst.
The Elmhurst.
They didn't wear it last Tuesday.
Exactly, they didn't wear it last Tuesday. Whatever. That's not really true, Ezra, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Half work. Yeah, so I grew up, praying. So my father prayed at home.
Exactly. So you have a clear-cut minhag. You know this is it.
Right.
The same way I know. Somebody asked me what. If somebody, like Ralph Nasser, he's not here right now. He pulled me up last night. What's the minhag? I'm like, whose minhag you want to know?
Right.
It depends where you're praying. Right. What are you doing?
Right.
Hey, tell me both. So I told them Egyptians do this, and and Yerushalayim nowadays is this, and Egypt is that. I go, these are different minhagim that are going on. But he goes, so if somebody came and asked you, what's the SY minhag? He goes, somebody was asking me for the Halabi minhag, so honestly, I don't know the Shami minhag. If somebody was asking me for the Halabi minhag, I tell him, pray at home till after the Amidah with your Tefilin, take them off, go to Qaddish. He goes, thank you, that's what I want to know.
Okay. Yeah,
and that was it.
All right, so let's clear that up. So praying at home now.
Right. So now, praying at home,
right.
Is it correct or incorrect?
Okay.
All right. Now,
no, I'm not saying it's correct or incorrect. What are you praying at home? You're saying Qaddish, you're saying
everything. From V'tipel Hana to the Amidah.
And Amidah and say Yeshim.
Mm-hmm. Not have to say Yeshim for anything.
Miro said to say Yeshim.
Minhag Lebanon.
Right.
Yeah. He's got to add his.
It doesn't matter anyway. Okay. So you're saying now, is it correct or incorrect?
So now we've just had discussions whether we need to pray b'sibur or not. It seems al pi halacha you do not have to pray with a minyan, but of course it's better to.
But you just said.
I'm saying in general, do you have to pray with a minyan? Is there an obligation? It doesn't seem like there is from the sources, but obviously it's better to. There's a lot of benefit that comes out of it. We have the issue of Kedusha, which you can't do. You don't have no Qaddish or Kedusha, you're praying v'yahid. On a day like Tish'a BeAb, it makes all the more sense to find a way to unify the people and bring people together as opposed to keeping people separate. So these are different issues that you want to keep in mind. Decide from that point. Okay. We stated what it is. Okay, we're done with the Tefilin issue. Any questions on it? Right? Ezra, Ralph, David, we're good, right? Ezra brought up to me. He walked into the gym today. He prayed at home to learn Tefilin till the end of the Amidah. He came here for Sefer Torah and Kinot. He got here. They were up to the Hazara when you got here?
They were up to Shema.
Up to Shema. Alright, he's hanging out. Edward Azrak was praying. Okay. All of a sudden, Kohanim.
No, there's no Kohanim.
I know there's no Kohanim. You know there's no Kohanim.
I didn't know what to do.
We have Kohanim in a house of mourning?
No Kohanim. Tish'a BeAb. There is no question about it. Harold is the rabbi. Yeah. Edward was the Hazan. And they did Kohanim here this morning. I didn't speak to Rabbi Harold. I didn't speak to Hazan Edward. But obviously they're going to both hear from me.
I don't know.
Okay?
I see. You let him go defend himself.
It's not even in the book.
It says no kind.
You want to give him a chance to defend himself first, in?
Listen, we know.
No,
very simple. Our minhag. Listen to me. Our minhag. And our meaning all Sephardim.
Ed would not know this.
Okay? I don't know. I didn't speak to Edward. Maybe somebody told him he has to do it. I'm not going to penalize Edward or Rabbi Harold. I don't know who told him to do it. Now, obviously, the modern books that come from Israel, where everybody's praying with Taleh and Tefillin and Knis nowadays,
have it?
There you go. They have Kohanim.
Really?
Do they?
Yes. It's right in the book.
Where's this from?
From Yerushalayim. Right in the front. Do you see it? Anyway. Our minhag. Right, very nice. So the thing is, there are many different Sephardim. So now, the minhag of all Sephardim, again, predating this new custom, okay, is no Kohanim.
Right, no Kohanim here.
On Tish'a BeAb morning. Only, again, Tish'a BeAb afternoon. Why? Simple. Do we understand why? Because Birkat Kohanim is all about shalom. It's all about peace. It's all about blessing. And we, again, in a state of mourning. We are not in that state of shalom. It's not befitting. In the afternoon, you have to remember, Tish'a BeAb is also called a mu'aid. Okay? And the mu'aid portion of Tish'a BeAb really comes into play more in the afternoon than in the morning, because that's when you start looking forward to the Mashiach coming. The Mashiach, according to our tradition, is born, or will be born rather, on Tish'a BeAb day, it's something that we look forward to. The whole concept of Mu'ayyid and Tish'a BeAb and how does it work in, we have 3 Mu'adim, but now this is a 4th Mu'ayyid, and that's a whole class in itself. I tried to figure how to make a class on that today, but it was way too difficult.
It's in Yilkut Yosef.
Yes, we know Yalkut Yosef says it. Very good. Because again, Yalkut Yosef also tells you to wear Tefilin in Beit Knesset on Tish'a BeAb morning. But do we do that?
No.
We don't. Okay, so we need leaders. We need people. You're not going to find anything here that you want to see.
Oh, I thought that was the book you gave me.
No.
I'm going to bring it.
No, so we need to find out from Rabbi Harold and Edward Ezrak and whoever else might be here that had a say in things this morning as to why they did Kohanim.
The crowd?
And what does
Nobody said anything?
say?
30.
No one
So
said
I
anything?
don't know what we said.
I
Yalkut
think
Yosef
people
says to
looking
do it.
around now.
So
Maybe they didn't know.
then we have a problem.
Maybe
Because
they didn't know. I mean,
because-
he says people looking around, no one said anything, and maybe they didn't know what to do.
No.
Maybe they forgot.
I
Maybe they forgot.
think they were all up there, so Edward just went with it.
No.
I don't know. I didn't ask
they're all up there. Who told them to go up there?
I don't know who went up
No,
there.
somebody had to tell them to go up there. It's something that we don't do. Bottom line. All right, we'll go to the people that were here, and we'll have to find out why they did it. Okay, done with that. Hello, Maya.
Is it short or?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can call it that.
Come on.
We're on topic 3.
We didn't get to our topic yet. We're just dealing with questions that have come up.
Okay, cool.
Do you have any questions on Tish'a BeAb?
No.
No, good.
No.
So you missed Tefilin, you missed Kohanim. That's out. That's finished.
You should know Kohanim one. The Tefilin one.
Ezra again. Was here this morning. And he said, whoever went up for Adiyat Israel went directly into the Haftarah and then said Qaddish. Now, I'm fine with that because to me it makes more sense. It follows Harambam in Hilchot Yom Kippurim, and that's what we do on Yom Kippur afternoon with Haftarah Yonah. But we have a Tish'a BeAb from a Cham Matlub, which Maya Lanyaro loves a Cham Matlub and, wants to discuss him at times. And Cham Matlub has a very crystal clear Tish'a BeAb on different topics of Tish'a BeAb, and he says not to push off the Qaddish till after the Haftarah, but to say the Qaddish before the Haftarah. And he lists that as minhag halab and the most correct thing to do. I personally disagree if it's correct. I feel, otherwise, especially in view of Harambam and knowing Chamatlub and his connection to Harambam, I don't understand where he's coming from. But obviously he was a lot greater than I am, so no problem over there. Minhag halab,
Right?
Qaddish is said after Kriyat Sefer Torah, before Haftarah.
Right.
And the reason.
Period.
His reasoning.
That reason, I'm not going to get to Tish'a BeAb now. Okay? But he said over here they did otherwise. So again, we have a problem. What did they do over here and why? And again, we have to go to Rabbi Harold and we have to go to Edward Ezrak.
Prayed in the wrong place.
No, he prayed at
No,
home.
it's okay.
Okay? Any insight on the Qaddish Haftarah issue?
We did it just like we did it after.
You did what after?
Extra insight more than what?
What do you mean we did it after? Who did what after what?
We did the Qaddish. Yeah, we break it up.
You again, so also you didn't follow Acham Matlub, wherever you were.
That's what we did. Whatever we did in West Hill.
Whatever we did.
Whatever
At West
Salvation
Hill
said, we did.
Right
Oh,
after,
what's
so
up with
you're
it?
saying...
No, hold on, don't interrupt. Continue. Meyer, continue, please.
At West Hill Shul, if I remember correctly, this morning we said the Qaddish after the Haftarah.
Okay, and what book was being used predominantly over there?
Sephardic.
They had this Sephardic, and they also had
Cherba.
the Cherba. Yeah,
Okay, and what do those two books have?
they have. I don't remember.
Okay, can we get a copy of those books? There's a Cherba book inside, I saw, in the other room. And if you have the Sephardic book in the car?
I think so.
All right, you want to go grab them?
Not 100% sure, but I'll check.
Go to with mine?
Joe.
But why'd you bring this up now? Because I said after. I want to finish it.
I'm a true believer that if someone's in the area, you
Where's
have
the
to
book?
ask them
Did you get the Siddur?
You just like to cause problems. You're the David. Let's push problems.
No, I told you why. I told him why.
What? He didn't tell me anything.
I told him. He said, how come I made Birkat Kohanim?
Yeah.
So he assumed that only because I was going to say because of Chama Justice, but it's not only that. Really, be'emet, the original minhag halab was not to make Birkat Kohanim, not in the Bet Aver,
That's right.
and not in Tish'a BeAb. And Tish'a BeAb is learned from a Bet Aver.
No kidding.
Go to any Bet Aver, not Egyptian, Halabiyeh, they're
Now-
making Birkat Kohanim.
I know what they're doing. So they're
So
wrong.
now they're wrong. So what am I supposed to do? Keep the minhag by Tish'a BeAb, where it's learned from a Bet Aver, when they obliterated the whole minhag by Bet Aver? It didn't make sense to
He's
me.
yelling. Here's the Rebbe.
Did that make sense?
What you're saying makes loads of sense, but at the same time it's completely wrong.
What?
Because you're saying, first of all, you're starting off saying the minhag of halab is not to.
It's not to.
Prove it.
Oh, that's something else.
Prove it.
I'm
What
saying
the-
even if you even if you want to say the minhag.
Hello. Okay, but I could bring you proof that they did Kohanim.
Oh, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
I assumed that you were coming and saying that it wasn't the minhag.
I didn't say anything about halab.
No, because he
No, I didn't start. I
I
said the other
assumed
question.
that I
Right
did
to the
Birkat
rabbi.
Kohanim. I did Birkat Kohanim because it says even if you want to say that was the minhag, today they've abandoned it.
Very nice, but again.
But in Bet Aver, in a Bet Aver, anybody who I've asked from Halab, any Zaken, even in here,
Right.
40 years ago, they didn't make Birkat Kohanim in Bet Aver.
Okay,
They didn't.
They did not. Anybody who I asked.
I'll show you in writing.
Okay.
From the Haftarah. I'll show you. That's not a problem. Now, does it make sense to do Kohanim on Tish'a BeAb? Let's just forget about Bet Aver, okay, or Bet Aver rather. Does it make sense to do Birkat Kohanim
Why
on Tish'a
not?
BeAb?
Why wouldn't it make sense?
The whole nation is sharui ba'avirut, and you're here and giving them bracha of shalom. Does it make sense? It doesn't make
Every
sense.
time we make it.
It's not the same
Asar
thing.
B'Tevet,
Asar B'Tevet,
May.
you're not in the same status of mourning. You can't compare it.
Oh, that's an emotional thing. I don't know.
No, it's very logical. Of course it is. It
That's
doesn't make
just an
sense.
emotion- that's just an emotional
It makes no sense to make it. It's not the place for it.
If you're doing it, okay, you know what? If you tell me that a Bet Aver's listen, we know Aver that Abim. There's no question
No,
that
I'll
all
tell
the
you
laws of
what-
Tish'a BeAb
are
are learned
mirrored
from
from
it.
it, yes.
What Aver did.
Very
What
good.
Aver did is
I
the
agree.
record.
So now
how
here's
can
the
you come and
problem.
tell me
Here's the problem.
that you want.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Here's the problem. In the Bet Abel, it's only the Abidim that are mitabidim. But all the people that are there praying have nothing to do with it. They're just coming to console them. Okay? They're all there for Nehamah more than anything.
Right.
But whereas Tish'a BeAb, the whole Am
If
is
the
mitabidim.
minhag would be that we send out the Abidim and we make
do.
Birkat Kohanim,
Which we do.
that would make
No,
sense.
you don't. Only you.
No,
Only if you're Kohen. Oh, if you're a Kohen. Right, if you're a Kohen, you go out.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody
Right,
else.
Nobody else, right. Yeah, if you're a Kohen, you leave the room.
Right, but okay, because you don't want to
Right,
make
right,
Kohanim,
right,
therefore
right.
you can't. You'll be
Right,
Right, but according to some people, that when I was at Bet Avel,
Listen,
they would argue that there should be no
the
Kohanim at all.
counter argument is Kol Kulo Tish'a BeAb is D'Rabbanan. Kol Kulo Birkat Kohanim is mitzvah aseh deoraita. You're not gonna obliterate a mitzvah aseh deoraita.
We're not obliterating. We're doing it in the afternoon.
Right, so you're doing it in the afternoon.
Right. So we're not obliterating.
Right, so that's the thought I was thinking is to say something. But now, but again, so you want to say that Tish'a BeAb would be more hamur than a Bet Avel?
Yeah.
The reason is
For a national, it's a national thing.
I understand, but the problem here would be, and there is a concept of Avelut Rabim and Avelut Yahid and Avelut Rabim, but the problem here is that all these laws were learned from Moed Katan,
Yes.
where the Mishnayot are talking
Feeling
about
about the Abir. 100%.
There
I
are
agree
no
with that.
laws of Tish'a BeAb.
No,
So
good.
how can we
So
have a Hatal?
now, if the people started messing up the minhag and they messed up in the Bet Avil, so we should mess up also on Tish'a BeAb too?
So that's a good question. So a good question is like this. So I thought of that. I said, it's not messing up. In other words, there are two legitimate ways to looking at it.
Okay.
You're right. So therefore, what I saw
So
is
if we-
consistency. In other words, it's
I
not.
see what you're saying.
In other words,
I see what
it's
you're
not.
saying.
This is ta'ut and this is not ta'ut. There's two ways to go. Hamavajah says change the minhag and go this
Yeah,
way.
we know.
I understand. That's what I said. So there are two legitimate ways to do it, and all I wanted was consistency. You pick whichever one you want. But be consistent. Don't do one thing in a Bet Avil and do something else on Tish'a BeAb because you're going to look like a
Now
moron.
you can pick
Right,
a
you look
million
like a
things on
dip.
Tish'a BeAb.
I understand. What are you doing?
Okay.
That's what I see. I see two legitimate paths, but I want consistency. In other words, be consistent with what you're saying. In other words, if you don't want to do it, don't do it a bit of it. Don't come to me with this avil mamash, make it in, and then come to Tish'a BeAb, and you feel it. Halevai, what you're saying would be correct, that everyone is in this dramatic state of avelut. I wish.
Oh, we're trying to get people into that state of mind. It's
we
very
definitely
very, very hard to do.
Yeah.
Part of the biggest problem, again, goes back to school. Because nobody ever learns about Tish'a BeAb in school until they grow up without it. That's the biggest problem. They don't know what's the Tish'a BeAb. We don't know what it is.
But they're also, the truth is...
No, that... and our wonderful summer setting doesn't help too.
Yeah. and in general, these laws, when it comes to avelut, also, people, even adult education, they don't want to teach them. They don't teach them the laws of avelut.
That goes back to the superstition, as
they don't want to teach them avelut. They don't want to teach
community.
avelut. And therefore, if you walk into a beit avelut, you think you're walking into a
party.
Not just a card club. It's a disaster.
That's a meeting of the family. It's a meeting of the family.
Ashkenazim walk in and they don't know what hit them. What? It's a beit avelut. They don't know what hit them.
I actually visited somebody last week.
When your mother was sitting, she asked me. I came for time. Within 40 minutes, she asked me, please tell them they're not there. And she made me quiet them down, and I had to do it three
times. I was there. It was embarrassing.
I had to do it three separate times. Please, Rabotai, the Avelim are asking that you not be, that you, there's a sound. The Avelim are asking. I had to say, they didn't care. They don't care.
In every house, I'm just saying.
If it's a tragic situation, like Haslo Aleinu, this kid, okay, then everyone's just solid because you're gonna be but if it's an elderly person who passed away and it's sad but not tragic, so then it just
they come to celebrate his life. That's what it is. Celebration of life.
Come on, boy,
I know. Exactly.
And they think get their mind off the Avil and tell them jokes.
Yeah. I can bring a marching band next.
And they sit for hours.
Why? Because they don't know the halachot.
Exactly.
They don't know.
And nobody teaches them, and they're afraid to learn them.
Okay. Maybe if they teach, they're not going to come.
No. Because they're afraid to learn them. That's the problem.
The problem is ignorance is the worst thing. Ignorance is the source of all the problems. Ignorance is the source of all.
He wants to start another problem.
What about the Qaddish after the Haftarah?
There's everyone coming up with different. We should just follow. We should follow. We're lucky we have a Matlu. We wrote it down. Why are we deviating?
So why did you deviate?
He went up and he did it.
Who's he?
What, you mean the maftir?
Today.
Yeah.
After what? After the Haftarah?
He said he did it after the Haftarah.
Right, the
minhag is before. We told him that we told the maftir, the Qaddish.
Yeah.
No, after. And then Edward also says, yeah.
Hello? Saved by the wife.
Fine. Okay, the kids are fine. Just let me know when you want to know. They're in the classes. Abby went to David, and the other kids are in the class. Assume you have to like around.
Did you get to see do it?
No, it wasn't in my car.
You don't have one here? Maybe that one there. You look.
Oh, maybe.
All right. I don't understand this. You have to understand one thing. No. I admit what I know. And it comes to the last 12 years until 3 years ago,
You weren't here.
I wasn't here.
I know.
I did, and I don't know any minhagim halab on Tish'a BeAb. Zero.
Right.
I prayed for 12 Tish'a BeAbs or 11 with a Chalmud every single time.
Right.
And I did it what they did. I put Tefilin on in the thing. I did the minhagim, whatever he said to do, we did.
Right.
In other words, I put Tefilin on. The way he does it, he prays.
I know what it is.
Then they take the Tefilin off, and then they do kinot. Not in Shekinot and not in Shachar. That's what I got used to. So I remember 2 years ago when I came in the first summer.
They do the kinot after Alenu.
Absolutely.
I know.
All the kinot after Alenu.
Oh, really?
That's an even newer minhag.
Yeah.
That wasn't his minhag 20 years ago. That's his newer minhag. By the
Okay,
way.
they do the kinot all after Alenu, and that's what I did.
Right.
That's what I did. Tish'a BeAb was an area that
That's what you did. You were there. You had
That's
to follow
all I did. So I followed what they did, and Hafu, when Maxie tried to do it according to the way we do it here, Kohanim killed him. He got up and said, because it was in Haftarah. He wants everyone in Yerushalayim to follow. That's it. Everyone give up if you come to Yerushalayim, give up your minhagim chotzadas and do it this way. And he made him change.
But he himself was not following minhag Yerushalayim. That's what I don't understand. He created his own.
So this is what he's saying there, which is that's what I did. So, for example, up till 3 years ago when I came here, and after I remembered, going back 11 years, I didn't know that there was no. I forgot. That, here I went up. They invite me up for shlishi on minhag. So what I'm expecting to do, I'm expecting to read the Haftarah.
Come to Haba.
No, I'm expecting to read the Haftarah. And there was no maftir. And I said, no maftir, what's going on?
No. Halabiyah. There isn't.
I thought I was going to read the maftir. I really did. I thought, because everyone does it except the halabiyah. I forgot. And nobody knew what to answer me. I said, why are we reading Haftarah? And nobody knew me. I go, what Haftarah? And they thought I was drunk. What Haftarah? Then I went home. I think you texted to me or someone. Or I went home, I opened the Matlub, and he says, based on how I'm... That's right, that's what I'm not so fluent in the minhagim. I tried to start and I read out the whole Teshuvah. And then, I think it's the one area where Matlub wrote the whole, a lot of the system, how we do it. So we should just follow what he writes. I mean, he's a pretty ne'eman person to tell me what the minhag of halab was. I think we should follow what Matlub wrote. That's what I think. So I told him, say Qaddish.
Didn't he write no Kohanim?
Did he write no Kohanim? I don't know.
I think so.
He did?
I think so.
I read the Teshuvah, I don't remember.
I think so. How far?
Check. I don't. It's possible.
You don't have one here, right? No, of course you don't.
I have one at home. I have one.
Maybe Joe has one of
If
those.
anyone wants extras, I have extras. He has. He gave me like 20 or 30. I have in Brooklyn. Giving him out. So if anyone wants. But I think we should follow Matlub. I really do. I think we should just follow what Matlub says.
Yeah, fine. I agree with them.
And I want him to make the
except
Qaddish.
with this Qaddish Kabbalah issue. That's a whole another issue. Whatever. Okay. Because every other Halabi source disagrees with him, before and after. You know.
But he's adamant.
He's very adamant.
He's
It's
clear.
very strange. Whatever. Different issue. Totally.
He took him last night.
Oh.
Whole different issue.
He took him last night. Qaddish.
Here comes Michael Sutton. He didn't come join us now.
No. So anyway, that's it.
All right, that's your logic behind it.
That's the logic. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I see. What are you doing? I wanted to say that they had the Yankee and you hate this, do that right at home.
It seems the other way.
How could you even know? I was just guessing.
Right.
They had a minyan in the knees for that people. Because people aren't blind. What's the law? These are people pray at home. You are not. So, no.
Right.
What's going to happen? They pray, they don't pray, they don't. You want to bring them to the knees to make sure they pray. So now what happens? When you have this, probably stayed at home. Because the whole question of what's better, Tefillah Tzipur or Tefilin on your head during the Tefillah lessons. It's Gemara, right? It's Mahloket. So, what do? And today, and then they came here, and then they argued about it, because someone says, I remember we did this, and someone said, I remember we did this.
Right, everybody did something
and the
else.
answer is, they did them both even there, probably.
Of course they had to do that, but it seems based upon most oral and written sources is that praying is a more common thing.
See, I used to pray at home when I was younger.
Right.
And then, of course, Israel, I just did what they did. Now I came back, now I'm running a minyan, so I pray here.
You have to pray here?
Pray.
With
minyan. No.
No.
Oh, with that.
Israel prayed shacharit with the tefillin on, the rabbis had everything, and we took the tefillin on, sat down and said the kiddush. That's what he did.
Right.
With the tefillin.
No way.
Shacharit with the sefer and everything, like almost a regular slot. Alin Shabbat, you take off your tefillin, and then you sit down and say kinot for about half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, and that's how it works. That's how his tefillah today happens. That's what he does.
Right. 1980, it wasn't that way. They were still doing the keynote within part of,
He
after,
was.
Yeah, still after the Amidah.
I don't remember.
No, 1980, before we even got there.
Oh.
No, that's no one I spoke to. Even Acham Sharon told me it's what it used to be.
Oh yeah? I didn't know that. I just assumed it. And then he used to read, and then he stopped. As he got older, he used to, after the kinot, he used to sit down with a group. This is even in your Havadat, in the Hanok, with a group, and read Iyov. From beginning.
He doesn't do Iyov anymore?
He's too old. He gets tired, he goes straight to the, after the kinot, he goes. But there is a group still reading Iyov. In your Havadat, not in the downstairs. There is a group reading Iyov, actually. Cham Shimon used to be
The ringleader.
Yeah, the reading Iyov. Minhagim fall apart.
Let's just
But we hear the whole
let
bit.
this day disappear.
Okay. Maybe we should be confused.
Right.
And the rest of the year is confused too. What do you explain? How do you say to that? Everything's confused.
I remember 3 years ago when I started reading the Birkot of the Haftarah, and they said, what are you doing?
Where were you? What Qaddish were you in?
Here.
Oh, here.
Here. I came when I come. Oh, 1 year after Israel. 1 year after Israel, I was 11 years there, and this is my 4th summer in Jersey. 3 in the J,
Right.
but the first one I wasn't in the J.
Right.
I didn't have minyan, so I happened to pray in a Habat. So it just
Yeah, it fell right in.
it fell right
Haftarah,
into
no
what I was
problem.
used to doing. Then this last, then 2 summers ago, the first one.
Yeah, over here.
I said, why aren't you doing Haftarah? They looked at me like, what Haftarah? They looked
What
at me,
Haftarah?
but no one was able to tell me why. They just said, what?
Yeah, but you open your book, there was no Haftarah in it
There's
either.
after that the book. Right.
No, so
Wait,
we
that
didn't have-
book? This book.
We didn't have this book. We had this book.
This book has
This is
Haftarah.
nice.
Really?
Yeah, this book will
we,
have
we
Haftarah.
couldn't get this book. We only got this book this year. So we only had this book.
mean,
So I
Paul-
thought everyone was out of their mind.
I mean, Paul gave you books?
Hey,
I don't know. He got
that's Shuba.
Yeah, I know. Why don't you get Nathan Dweck's book?
What? There's nothing wrong with it. What's the problem? I just want to keep the Tefilin intact.
He's like,
He doesn't-
okay.
He's not worried about it. Right. Keep
I just want to keep the Tefilin
Keep it
intact.
Tefillah
I
going.
just want to keep the
I
Tefillah.
know.
Tefillah.
I want to keep the
I mean,
Tefillah.
no. And I know he says to break it to change the Nahim, no?
What? Yeah, he changed.
He changed the Nahim. I don't want to change the Nahim. I want to
I'm not telling you to change the Nahim.
So that's why that's the only reason. I'm not against the book. I want to keep people get confused. We say Nahim, we would say this
Right.
Nahim, we say that Nahim. I want one Nahim. I want
You know
to
how many
keep it-
different...
makes sense, though?
there are a lot of different versions of Nahim that are out there. I've seen about 10 of them.
Right. But they're all with changes.
They will change, I'm talking
The
about.
country changed. Our life changed.
Yeah, I know.
Well, listen, there are reasons to change and there are reasons not to change.
Yeah.
There are reasons either way.
Read about Israeli newspapers, Israeli politics. You'll say Nahim 6 times. Exactly what is written.
You know, you want to make it
There's no
worse than
Nahim
it
in
is.
this
Sure, there's
Read about what's going on in Israel today.
I know.
I tell you what, I'll say Nahim.
Bonito Shalom.
I'm saying, you want to make it worse than it already is. I know.
So,
All right, Echad.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
I hope I answered.
Maybe.
Here. There you go. All the same.
So
Do you
Tefillah
pray
journal's
to-
out. Okay, that's out.
Tefillin, before Tefillin, whatever.
We finished. We did the Tefilin
It's all
issue.
in-
We did the Kohanim issue. We did the Haftarah and Qaddish issue.
Oh.
That's all finished. Great. We lost Meyer. Okay. Um,
We get inside.
yeah. Next topic that came up. Eating after the fast. I want to do this very quickly with AB. We did it on the Hazanut forum. Eat what you want to eat. But don't tell me that you must eat dairy or that it's haram to eat meat after the fast. There is no such law. Period. There is a minhag kasher that is recorded, in Shulchan Aruch, that there are those that abstain from eating meat because the Beit HaMikdash was still burning, and it seems that according to Shulchan Aruch, you should abstain till the following night, and according to the Ramah, according to Moram, you wait until just midday of the following day.
Okay.
Okay? In our case this year, since our fast is already pushed off to the 10th of Ab, there is absolutely no reason to wait whatsoever, and you could definitely eat meat tonight to break the fast. As far as minhag is concerned, like I mentioned to AB this morning and to Michael, who was there this morning, all the old sidurim of Hamish Ta'aniyot and Arba' Ta'aniyot, as they were so called, very clearly in Shahrit, that after Shahrit, they go, the Shohatim go to do Shahita. What are they doing to Shahita? What are they doing Shahita? So people have food for later on. Okay? It's well known. For Egypt, it's well recorded in Har Mitzrayim. For Halab, we spoke to many people, including Hakim Ishaq Tawil, who said Befiruj, the minhag was they ate meat after the fast, except for a few families who did not.
Pushed off or not?
Makes no difference.
No, makes no difference.
Made no
Okay.
difference. We ate, and Hakim Ishaq Tawil said it. Hayim Shayo, Miro Sutton's cousin, told us the same thing. Alberto Atiyah, who was a Sofer, his family is from Halab, but from Panama. He lives in San Diego. Said yes, the minhag was meat after the fast. Sally Ashkenazi, daughter of Acham Azra Mishaniye, told me yes, we used to eat meat after the fast. Only in around 1960 or so that we started to become influenced by Ashkenazim, and we started to eat dairy. Okay? Bottom line is, it's very, very clear cut. Meat after the fast. You don't want to eat meat?
Oh, they
don't
eat meat?
Yes, the minhag was to eat meat after the fast. 100%.
Every fast or just this one?
Every fast. Including this, including
No,
Kippur.
because I thought sambusak was like, the minhag.
No, sambusa is your minhag because you love sambusa. You can eat sambusa for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 365 days a year, David. We know that already.
I look forward to fasting if I get sambusak.
I know. Anyway, but there is some people will tell you that it's haram to eat meat after Tish'a BeAb.
Because it's
It's
still burning?
not haram. And they're going to tell you, no, the Hachamim said. Yes, most rabbis nowadays will tell you don't eat meat, especially if you go speak to the rabbis of Israel nowadays. No, don't eat meat till the next day, till the next night, till even the morning after that. There is no isur. Okay? Shulchan Aruch lists it as good advice. Muram lists it as good advice.
Good advice.
Not to eat
Not
the
to
meat, but nobody's telling you it's asur to
Right.
eat meat. And we have a clear-cut minhag that meat was eaten, and that's why the books of the Taniyot actually put that the guy goes to do shahita because they needed meat for that, to do the shahita, then they get the meat, they wash it, they salt it, they do it, and they cook it, and they eat it that night. They had fresh meat. It was not a problem. Okay, and if you didn't want to, you weren't eating it that night, you were eating the next morning, at latest, but you were eating. Okay, you would do shahita the day before, and you had meat for that day. So there's no question, there's no issue to discuss this. Anybody who wants to say that there was no minhag to eat meat is not familiar with the sources. You want to tell me that your family had a minhag of not eating meat? Yes, there were families that had such a custom. We're not saying that there were no families, but the overall general custom was to eat meat. Fine, next topic. Years since the Hurban of the Beit HaMikdash, we have a minhag. It's very clear, it's very simple, it's pashut. We say that the Hurban happened in the year 68. That's our minhag. That's what we've been doing since way before I came on the scene. Okay? And we all know it. We've heard this from our Hachamim, that we take the Christian year, we subtract 68, and that's how many years? So this year is 2012 minus 68. It's 1,944 years. There are people now in the community, and there's a Tefilin book that says to count from the year 70. Okay, and that's because based upon the historians, Hurban happened in the year 70. It's not our minhag. We don't do that. There are minyanim now in the community that are doing that. I think they're wrong for changing it. I don't see what they've based themselves upon, because I looked into numerous writings of historians, and they're not all in agreement that was the year 70. They all give either 68, 69, or 70, and according to newer sources that I've been looking at, and I haven't finished investigating, it seems that Harambam very, very clearly points out, not dealing with Tish'a BeAb, not dealing with Ta'ani, but in other places in the Mishneh Torah, he clearly points out that the year was 69. So there are different minhagim, obviously, but we have a minhag of 68. There's no reason to change it. This is what we've been counting year after year after year after year. All of a sudden, we're counting the year 1944. They're counting the year 1942. We counted that year 2 years ago. So somebody who doesn't know anything goes, "What do you mean?
Like
You're counting 1942 again?"
It's like everything else.
Yeah. So I say, stick to what.
Tefilin,
To what,
Kohanim,
stick to what we have. We have the tradition. Unless you have a really solid reason to throw out the tradition because you could prove that it's 100% incorrect, all right, then you have a case to discuss. But otherwise,
Just Rabbi Shem?
No, I did not discuss it with him. I have no reason, because he's going to tell me the historian said, and our rabbi just used that 68 because it's a nice mnemonic, and to use the number 68 because it's Hayim, and we want to think of Hayim. No, he will tell you that it's nice to use 68, but it's incorrect. The rabbis will only use a number. He'll use some sort of argument like that. That's basically what I got from Nathan, so I'm assuming that's what he got from Rabbi Shammah. For whatever reason, they have this particular thing. It's 68. That's what we know. That's what we've done. I don't know if they put in a year in the Young Sha'ar Sion book or Bnei Sha'ar Sion book as it became later on. All right, but minhag is 68. Any arguments? Any questions about it?
No.
Simple. Done. Nahim. To say it, all three tefillot or just minhag. There are minhagim this way. There are minhagim that way. Minhag of Egypt is all three tefillot. Minhag of Halab, just minhag. Minhag of Sham, also only minhag. Minhag of Morocco, only minhag. Minhag of Baghdad, also only minhag. Most minhag of Yerushalayim, all three tefillot. It seems that most, communities seem to be only minhag. Ashkenazim are also only minhag. The Turks, as far as I know, are only minhag. I think the Libyans are all three tefillot again. They're different. All three?
Yeah.
Yeah, minhag Yerushalayim is all three.
Oh, okay.
Seems like that's the right minhag.
What?
To say it in all three. Why wouldn't you say it in all three?
I'll tell you why you wouldn't say it in all three. Because you think as nahem, you think as consolation, comforting. That doesn't really happen until the minhag time. And that's why putting it off to minhag can make sense. At the same time, if you look...
Comforting meaning...
You're comforting yourself, you're comforting the Am, you're comforting the whole... you're saying the Nahamuz right after the Amidah. You have all those Nahamuz that you're saying, goes in with Nahem. At the same time, the text of Nahem itself is really heartrending. The Biyah, I'm poor, I'm spilling out my guts, I'm crying, I'm screaming, I'm bleeding, I'm devastated. So that applies to all three tefillot. That's the theme of the day. So I can see it either way. Everybody again, follow minhag. Simple. There's nothing more to discuss about it. Nobody should deviate from the minhag. There's no reason to. If you're in a place that, and you're hesitating for them, or you're the rabbi of that kehillah, yes, find out what their minhag is and do their minhag. If their minhag is not to do Kohanim, just don't do Kohanim. If the minhag is to do Nahem, do Nahem. Whatever the case may be, that's what you do. Very simple. Done. We didn't get to our topic yet, Michael. So we're just touching on different things that came up before class started.
No problem. It's a long day.
It's a long day. Thank God it's moving. Kids.
Yeah. Camp time.
Daycare. Okay. Final topic that I think we have before we get to class. What time does it take? In the sense that we need to understand in general, when does anything start and end? We have a time system that, at least according to halacha, and according to the way the world always was before we had clocks, it's based upon the sun. You know what time sunrise is, you know what time sunset is. From that, you're able to calculate when you could stop praying, when you could until when you could say Kriyat Shema, until when you could pray the Hamidah, when it's Hasod, when you could pray Minha, when can you bring in praying Arbit, all these things. So now, your day ends at sunset. Okay, but we all know the sun sets and it's still light outside. And the Hachaim said you need time until what they called Seder Kochavim, till the stars come out for, let's say, Shabbat to be over, Kippur to be over, our fast to be over, whatever the case may be. When is this Seder Kochavim? So they seem to have baited, since at that point, once the sun went down, their sundial would no longer work, right? There's no sun, there's no reflection, there's no shadow, there's no nothing. So they had to calculate a time. So they created something called Seder Kochavim, and they said it's a time. You have to look at how long does it take a person to walk. To walk what distance? They calculated things by a measurement called a mil. we'll call it a mile, because it's very, very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very, very similar. So they said that it would take 18 minutes to walk this meal. Okay, which is about 18 minutes to walk a mile for most people. Some people walk it faster, some people walk it slower, but basically 18 minutes. And I tell you, the time the stars come out is the time of Tish'a BeAb. Okay, it's 3/4 of this meal. That brings us down to 13 and a half minutes. According to them, that's when everything is over. Done. So if it's 13 and a half minutes, we're being nice and mahmir, we're saying 20 minutes. Yeah, we're saying this 13 and a half minutes is shittat of the Geonim, and this is what we follow. This is what we always followed in the Middle East. That's what we follow. We're mahmir. We take it to 20 minutes just in case we're off by our calculations. Any safek, we weren't really exactly sure about what time the sun set, because it depended if I was standing on a high point or a low point in the city, and maybe I saw it go down, maybe I didn't, maybe I miscalculated because 3 days ago I saw the sunset. Now it's been cloudy for the last few days. So we added just to make it 20 minutes and nice and easy. The problem, go ahead.
Isn't that Sha'od Zmaniyot?
No, 100% wrong.
The sun takes longer to go down?
According to Harambam, it's not. Harambam is very clear that it's a regular Sha'od. This Sha'od Zmaniyot, to figure this out, seems to be a new Humrah.
So it was 20 on the long end.
What?
But 13 and a half was 20 on the long end.
No. According to Harambam, according to the Geonim, everything I've looked into, it just seemed that it was just
Regular 13
and a half minutes. Okay. They didn't calculate anything Zemaniyot in that sense, and especially not once the sun went down. During the course of the day, you have an issue of Sha'od Zemaniyot. Once the sun went down, that's it, it's nighttime. There's no Sha'od Zemaniyot because you don't have a watch. You don't have a clock, So people knew how to, the pace that you walked that mile didn't change. It had to stay the same.
Right.
It didn't make a difference if the day was a long day or a short day. Your pace was still your same pace. So it can't be Zemaniyot.
If
Doesn't
it was
make
winter,
sense.
you're walking a lot faster.
Or a lot slower if the wind is blowing at you. Okay, so that really, to say that Sha'od Zemaniyot just doesn't make sense. The problem really lies in that you want to say, well, what's the big question? If it's 20 minutes, it's 20 minutes. Well, it's all very nice and well for our wonderful region of Israel and Babel and Misraim and Syria, and this whole region is more or less within the same time frame, and sunset happens more or less within, let's say, 10 minutes, of each other. I think it's a little bit longer than that, but I'm saying 10 minutes. Now, we have been relocated. We are now over here in the Western Hemisphere, and we're in the Northwestern Hemisphere, and we're in the Northeast, and we have the long days of summer, and we're outside in the summertime. Sunset's 8:30, and 9 o'clock, it's still bright and sunny outside. Even though there's no sun, it's still really bright. Even 9:10, you could still drive around, and you turn your lights on in your car. So, what's going on? What do we do? What don't we do? And that's where the question lies in. Okay, and even I discussed this numerous times in the past with Rabbi Harold, and even he hinted it to Ezra and I when we walked in early before as to what time is the fast end. He goes, don't ask me because I'm going to end it later than you want to hear. Because he goes, I'm looking astrologically. What time does it end? It doesn't make any sense to say that it ends 20 minutes after sunset. I would actually wait, he's saying, till stars come out. And we have beautiful programs out there. There's a great website called minhagim.com, and you can look up all different shittot and calculations, and it's all, very nice and accurate. Calculate what you want. Somebody's doing 20 minutes, don't bother them. They're following the minhag, they're following a source, it's following the Geonim, you can't argue with that. Somebody wants to do longer than that, leave them alone. Don't fight with them, you're a black cat, you're crazy, you're this, you're that. Leave them alone. They feel that, that it doesn't make sense to them. And it's hard to make sense of it by just looking in the sky, because if it's still sunny outside, or it's still...
So why is Shabbat different?
Shabbat, we say because Shabbat is a issue of the Oraita. So, same thing with Kippur. And so, therefore, we push it off longer to...
35?
Well, it could be 35. In the... Achab Yaakov Kassin said 35. In the Midrash, they used to do 25. Okay? And that was a Chamat Loop in this. Okay? If you want to think about it like that. Achab Yaakov with 35.
Who's the source for
Achab
that?
Sharon does 40.
Who's the source for the 25?
I don't know if there's any written source. I've never seen a written source for it. Okay? Achab Sharon does 40. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein does 50, but if you're in a pinch, you could follow 41 or 42, something like that. Then you have the people who tell you 72. Then you have the people who know it's 72 Zimaniyot. Let everybody do what they want. Leave them alone. Okay? Just understand where we got our 20 from, and it's really 13 and a half. And like if somebody has something really pressing and they really need, to leave early after a holiday or something, or they need to break their fast immediately, leave them alone. Let them follow what they do, 13 and a half even, and don't even push them to the 20 minutes.
So can you say Birkat Levanat after 20 minutes?
Yeah. And we do it.
I know we do
As
it.
long as we see it, we say it.
It's not the main source of light.
No, it's not the
at
main
night.
source of light, but we still do it.
So sunset
Because
tonight is 8:13. So you tell me the fast is over? Oh no, they push it.
8:33.
8:33. But they say 8:38. That was a lot of people announced.
And the email I got.
Yeah, Rabbi
8:40.
Shaman does 25
25 minutes.
Rabbi Shaman doesn't believe in 20 minutes. He believes 25.
25 minutes.
I have 8:40.
It's
We
really
have Westfield.
8:33.
Mm-hmm.
If you're following the 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is not wrong.
No, it's not
No.
wrong. You looked up on my name. Okay.
So what do I have? What do I have?
So-
8:40. Why do I have 8:40 in Westfield?
Westfield.
I don't get. What are they following?
The following Rabbi Soloveitchik. I don't know what they're following. It's Rabbi Leviton.
8:40?
I don't get it. That it's 8:13.
Because
so
he probably took Rabbi Shaman's 8:38 and he
Shaman
rounded it
actually
up.
made a speech on this last week about. He said he's changing it to 25 minutes.
He's been doing 25 minutes
He does
since I
this
know.
25.
No, he
Yeah.
told everybody we used to do 20, now it's 25.
So you're saying 8:33 is real
Never
time?
did.
Since the day that I know Rabbi Shaman, I've
He
known him
always
for years.
25.
I know
He
him
made a
well.
speech last week.
I know him well since 1990.
Right.
It's been 25 minutes.
Always, yeah.
It's been 25 minutes, since, at least since then. I'm sure
Habab's
before.
always 5 minutes earlier than us, forever.
But we end with the fast
Okay, what
5 minutes
everybody
earlier.
We want to avoid traffic jams.
20 minutes. 20 minutes after
It takes them 5 more minutes to get out of there.
Yeah, up the steps.
That's a different situation.
Not for Michael and I. We run out to eat,
Fast day.
That's it. We're
We
out.
always get out before the fast. We're always out before the fast. We have 5 minutes to get home.
Years ago, though, and this is before Acham Sha'on, that we had plenty of mahmirim in Ahaba, and we used to end fasts around 50 minutes.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
We had a lot.
Ooh, the rabbi in charge.
We had the rabbi. We had Charlie Shushan. We have Charlie Sheheban. We had Charlie Sheheban, very mahmir.
Yeah.
Oh, big mahmir. Who else did we have that used to be
Joking, you weren't
mahmir? I
joking.
promise
Oh,
you.
you were not joking.
I'm very, very serious.
He doesn't play
who else
games
used
with
to
his
have
fellow
these very,
Egyptians.
very mahmir. Those two were Victor Mizrahi. You probably don't even remember him. Ezra Shamula's brother-in-law. Ezra Shamula and Sami Shamula.
Shamuel's still a big mahmoud.
But they, so what,
Uncle
they
Sammy
were-
for sure.
Yeah, they were doing more or less 40
Right.
to 50 minutes after sunset for fasts.
Right.
So, in his credit, Chacham Shimon was able to knock that out and bring back the 20 minutes.
Right.
Okay, so just so you know. Yom Tov Shini, but we don't publicize that. We put on the schedule as 40 minutes, but we always end before. Okay, we do that on purpose.
I remember one time we walked out, it was like
For different
light,
reasons.
light outside.
Yeah, we do it for different reasons,
Yeah.
but we're not publicizing that on purpose. All right, so we're done with all this. Good.